The storm screamed like a living thing. It wasn't just rain, it was a fury. Bella's fingers clenched the wheel, knuckles white. The radio crackled with warnings. Flash floods. Seek shelter. But she just wanted to get home. Then, a flicker of movement. Her headlights caught the small shape too late. A child, standing in the road like a ghost. Bella's scream mixed with the screech of tires. The car fishtailed, skidding sideways. Crash. A mailbox exploded in a shower of wood. Bella gasped, heart hammering. The girl. Where was the girl? She threw open the door, rain stinging her face. There, still standing, unharmed. Bella stumbled toward her. Sweetheart, are you? The child turned, eyes wide, empty. No fear, no tears, just nothing. Bella's breath hitched. Something was wrong. The girl's feet were bare, cut, and muddy. Her nightgown, once white, was gray with dirt. Where do you live? Bella asked, voice shaking. Silence. Then she saw them. The scars. Angry welts crisscrossing the small back beneath soaked fabric. Have you subscribed to our channel yet? Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. The cops arrived, flashlights cutting through the downpour. Police found no records, no ID, no reports of a missing girl. At the station, when overwhelmed CPS begged for temporary foster placement, a social worker sighed. We've got no foster homes tonight. She'll have to stay here. Bella looked at the girl, curled in a chair, rocking herself gently, staring at the wall. Something inside her cracked. I'll take her, just for the night. At home, Bella ran a bath. The girl dipped a finger to test out the water, and there was no reaction to indicate whether the water was warm enough. She didn't react to anything, or so it seemed. That first night, as she tucked the stranger child into bed, a whisper cracked through, "Thank you." Those were the only words she'd spoken since Bella saw her. As Bella turned off the light, she made a whimpering sound. Bella turned the light back on again and asked her if she wanted the light to stay on, and she nodded. Second communication. Whatever had happened to her made her afraid of the dark, Bella thought. I'm in the room across from you, and I will leave my door open. A look of relief flickered across her face ever so slightly, and then it was gone as quickly as it appeared. The next day, Bella had to drive the child to the police station. The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets as Detective Langley flipped through his notepad for the third time. No missing persons reports matching her description. No Amber Alerts. Nothing. His pen tapped the blank page, like she materialized in that storm. Bella watched through the observation window as the child sat perfectly still on a too-big chair, her bare feet dangling inches above the floor. A female officer knelt before her with a teddy bear, but the girl just stared through it like it wasn't there. Those scars. Bella's throat tightened. Someone did that to her. Langley's jaw flexed. We're running her prints through the national database, checking border crossings from Canada and Mexico, too. He lowered his voice. The burns, we've alerted the Pediatric Abuse Task Force. Day 3 found them in the hospital for medical exam. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and false hope. Dr. Kapoor's gloved hands hovered over Anna's back. These aren't just random burns. She traced the patterns with a trembling light. See how these form angles? This was deliberate, methodical. Bella's stomach turned as the doctor pointed out. Old scars, at least 2 years, beneath fresh wounds. Fractured pinky finger, poorly healed, possibly from piano practice. Needle marks in the crease of her left arm. Sedatives, Kapoor muttered. Whoever had her kept her docile. Across the room, the child clutched the stuffed bunny Bella had bought her, her eyes fixed on the exit sign. How old do you think she is? Bella asked Dr. Kapoor. 13, I'd say, she replied. On day 7, the cops hit dead ends. The conference table was littered with empty coffee cups and fading leads. Langley slapped down a grainy gas station photo. This is the closest we've got. A dark sedan parked near where you found her. No plates. We don't even know if it's got anything to do with her. Bella studied the blurry image. Could they have left her there? Maybe. Langley rubbed his bloodshot eyes. But here's what's weird. We checked every private pediatric burn clinic within 200 miles. No records of treating a child like her. On day 14, the system failed this child. The CPS supervisor's office reeked of stale perfume and resignation. Ms. Moore, I'll be frank. The woman shuffled papers without looking up. With no ID, no family, and her special needs, this child's looking at long-term state care. Bella's nails bit into her palms. You mean an institution? A shrug. Budget cuts closed the last group home for trauma cases. Through the blinds, Bella saw her in the waiting room, tracing the same strange symbol over and over in a coloring book, a lion with a crown. Day 21 was the decision day. The rain returned the night Bella signed the temporary guardianship papers. The child stood by the living room window, her breath fogging the glass as she watched the storm. Bella joined her, kneeling to meet those hollow eyes. I don't know who hurt you, she whispered, but I won't let them find you again. Her small hand slipped into hers, the first time she'd initiated contact. Outside, lightning split the sky, illuminating the street where their lives had collided. Somewhere out there, a monster was searching. But tonight, she's safe. It would be another 3 weeks later, when Bella was tucking the girl she named Beleza for beauty in Spanish, that she said one word, Anna. Bella was shocked. She asked her, "Is your name Anna?" And the child nodded. The next day, Bella was back at the station to notify the police. Another round of database scouring began, looking for a missing child named Anna, but nothing came up. Therapy was recommended, and Anna was referred to a therapist whose specialty was trauma victims. After 3 months, there was an opening for Anna to be taken into foster care, so the social worker came for her. After explaining to Anna that they were taking her away, she looked like a deer caught in the glare of bright headlights. She let out a loud, frightening cry and ran to Bella. She clung to her like she was clinging for her dear life and wouldn't let go. Lena, the social worker, made a call through to her superiors, and they advised that it was better to leave her with Bella. Bella knew she had to make Anna stay with her permanent, so she informed Anna of her desire to adopt her. Anna jumped for joy and, for the first time, really smiled. The adoption papers felt heavier than they looked. Bella traced the embossed seal, Anna Moore, legally recognized daughter, while watching the girl laugh in their sunlit backyard. 2 years of therapy had erased the flinching. 2 years of love had filled out those two thin cheeks. But some shadows remained. Mom! Anna's small hand slipped into hers during their monthly trauma therapy session. Can we get ice cream after? Bella's heart still stuttered at being called Mom. Double scoops, she promised, kissing the crown of braids now streaked gold from summer sun. That night, she found Anna bent over some colored pencils at the kitchen table. Not her usual bright landscapes, but is that a lion? Bella tilted her head at the intricate symbol. Anna's grip tightened on the red pencil. Yes, I like lions. The therapist's warning echoed. Recovered memories may surface as she feels safer. The piano arrived on a Tuesday. Bella had noticed it weeks earlier. The way Anna's small fingers would tap out intricate rhythms on tabletops. The way she'd pause, entranced, whenever classical music played in a cafe. The therapist had called it a possible recovered memory surfacing. So Bella surprised her with a second-hand upright, its walnut wood chipped, but its keys gleaming. Anna stood frozen in the doorway, her breath catching. You don't have to play if you don't. Before Bella could finish, Anna was on the bench, fingers hovering. And then, music. Not the hesitant plinking and plunking of a child. Not even the polished performance of a prodigy. This was something older. The piece swelled, dark and aching, full of sorrow Bella couldn't name. Anna's eyes slipped shut, her small frame swaying as if the melody moved through her like a ghost. Bella's skin prickled. This wasn't just skill. This was inheritance. More drawing started soon after. At first, Bella thought nothing of it. Anna had always sketched, filling notebooks with sunflowers and stick figure versions of their little family, Bella, Anna, and Mr. Whiskers the cat. But then the lion appeared. Again, and the sword, and the crown. Then they started appearing everywhere. Always the same, always precise. Scratched into the frost on her car window one winter morning. Drawn in the condensation of Anna's oatmeal bowl. Carved into the dirt of their backyard garden. Not random doodles. A compulsion. Why do you draw this, sweetheart? Bella chose a quiet evening to ask. Anna curled against her on the couch, the fireplace painting gold light across her latest sketch. Anna didn't look up. I don't know. Does it make you feel something? She went still, as though lost in thought. Then her voice dropped to a whisper. Safe. Bella's chest tightened. Safe. The word they'd fought so hard for. Bella tucked the words away like a puzzle piece. Does it remind you of before? Anna didn't respond, but Bella noticed her fingers clenched around a red pencil. A fragment of memory surfaced. Her therapist's warning, don't push. Let her guide the remembering. Slowly, after what seemed like forever, Anna began to speak more and more. She didn't say anything about her scars or her background, and Bella didn't push. They went to see her therapist and was given the all clear to start school. The school called the next week. Mrs. Moore, we've tested Anna's cognitive abilities. The principal's voice crackled with disbelief. She's reading at a collegiate level. Her spatial reasoning. Bella already knew. She'd seen the way Anna dismantled the broken microwave and reassembled it better. Heard her correct Bella's French pronunciation with flawless Parisian inflection. Watched her calculate the grocery bill to the cent before the cashier finished scanning. This wasn't just intelligence. This was bloodline. Bella finally showed the drawings to her friend Claire, a professor of European genealogy. Claire's coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. Where did you get this? My daughter draws it. Why? It looks familiar. Let me check my books. I'll get back to you in 2 days' time. Claire called her within a day. Bella, we need to see. It sounded serious. When Bella got there, she saw Claire hunched over some documents. Claire exhaled slowly. This is the de Ries family crest, one of the oldest, wealthiest dynasties in America. They're private, the kind of people who own islands but don't appear on Forbes lists. Super secretive, super wealthy. Bella's pulse thudded, and if a child were connected to them? Claire's gaze darkened. Then someone went to great lengths to make her disappear. Bella was in shock. Could Anna be connected to them? Could she be a de Ries? Not possible. Not with those scars on her back. Nobody would do that to a billionaire's daughter. That's not even possible by any stretch of imagination. Bella put it down to Anna's genius and perhaps love for history and lions. The first time Anna played piano for her 8th grade class, Emily Carter whispered just loud enough for everyone to hear, "Freak." Bella's hands clenched around the minivan steering wheel when Anna told her after school, the girl's voice carefully flat. They said my fingers move like spiders, Anna murmured, flexing her hands. Hands that had flawlessly performed Mozart's Rondo alla Turca at the school talent show that morning. Hands that had made the music teacher cry. Bella pulled over, turning to cup Anna's face. You know what your hands are? She kissed each tiny knuckle. Magic. Anna laughed delightfully. The piano became Anna's second voice, where words sometimes failed her when memories of before pressed too close. Music flowed effortlessly. Bella would wake at 2 a.m. to find Anna at the upright, playing complex nocturnes with her eyes closed, as if channeling some ancestral melody. One afternoon, Bella came home to find Anna transposing a Chopin etude into a minor key, a sophisticated alteration her private instructor insisted he hadn't taught her. How did you know to do that? Bella asked, setting down grocery bags. Anna blinked, as if surprised by the question. It fit better that way. The instructor later confided, voice hushed. That's not just talent, Mrs. Moore. That's generational musicianship. Emily's taunts grew sharper when Anna skipped to 8th grade math. Think you're so special, the girl hissed, knocking Anna's books to the hallway floor. Anna simply crouched to gather them, then looked up with a quiet intensity that made Emily stumble back. I don't think I'm special. She stated it as fact, like noting the sky was blue. But you're wrong about the Fibonacci sequence in your poster. It's not just in sunflowers. It's in hurricanes, too. When Emily gaped, Anna added mildly, you can Google it. That night, Bella grinned through Anna's retelling over mint chip ice cream. My little genius, she teased, booping Anna's nose with chocolate syrup. Anna giggled, then froze mid-laugh. What? Bella asked. Nothing. Anna's smile turned wistful. Just someone used to call me that. Before. The unspoken word hung between them. The lion drawings always appeared after piano sessions. Bella noticed the pattern. Anna would lose herself in some impassioned sonata. Then, as if in a trance, sketch the crest's elements with startling precision. One rainy Sunday, Bella gently intercepted Anna's pencil. "Does the music make you think of this?" She touched the half-finished lion. "Yes," she said simply. Then came the day song was played on the TV, and Anna flinched. "What is it?" Bella asked, concern written all over her face. Anna's pupils dilated slightly. "It's his song." "Whose?" "The man with the gold watch." Anna's fingers twitched toward her own wrist. "He'd play it when I got the answers wrong, and then—" Her voice trailed off, but it was obvious whatever it was that came after that song was terrible. Bella's blood ran cold. Answers. Like a test. Like training. She pulled Anna into a hug, breathing in the strawberry shampoo scent of her daughter. Not some genius, not some prodigy. Just hers. But later, alone, Bella stared at the Dariz family history glowing on her laptop, at the photos of their private conservatory, their Nobel laureates, and the single line that haunted her. All Dariz children play before they walk. But was she a Dariz? How come no one is looking for her? Bella woke to the sound of whimpers. She found Anna curled in her closet, knees to chest, scratching the Dariz crest into the wall with a hairpin, over and over, as if trying to carve out a memory. The girl's fingers bled. "Anna!" Bella grabbed her wrists gently. "He made me forget." Anna gasped, tears cutting through the darkness. "The man with the watch. He burned their faces out of my head." Bella's stomach dropped. She lifted Anna's pajama top, and then she saw it in close detail. The scars weren't random, just as Dr. Kapoor had said. Up close, they formed letters, a grotesque brand along her ribs. DR. Dariz. And the welts marks too. My goodness, what has this child gone through? Bella wondered while hugging Anna until she fell asleep. All this while Claire kept on digging. She knew it couldn't be a case of love of history and lions that would make a child keep drawing the crest of one of the wealthiest families in America. A child that just seemed to materialize from thin air. What she found was nothing short of shocking. She sent for Bella with a curt text. "You gotta see this." Claire's hands shook as she projected an old news article. Philanthropists Richard and Lillian Dariz perish in yacht explosion off Corsica. Sole heir, 9-year-old Elena, presumed drowned. The photo showed a laughing family, Richard's arm around a dark-haired woman, their daughter Elena at his side. A daughter with Anna's exact widow's peak. "Look at the mother's hands," Claire whispered. Bella zoomed in. Lillian Dariz's fingers bore the same pianist callus as Anna had. If Anna was really Elena, then who was the drowned girl? And how did she end up with burn marks and welts on her back? How did she even end up in the middle of the road during a rainstorm, for that matter? How come no one has reported the daughter of a billionaire missing? How come nobody is looking for her? But the drowned girl, unknown. Claire pulled up a morgue photo, a blonde child in a too big life jacket. This body was not that of the child in that photo. It was planted. Someone wanted the world to think Elena died with her parents. The breakdown came at 3 a.m., a couple of weeks after Anna's 18th birthday. Bella heard sobs from Anna's room. Anna clawed at her own skin, sobbing. "He made me call him Papa. He said Mommy let the boat explode and that she didn't love me. But I saw," she gasped like a drowning thing. "I saw him in the boat, arguing with my daddy and Mommy. I saw him go below the boat, and the next thing I knew, I was in a room in a mansion. I couldn't step out of the room on my own, except with his housekeeper." Bella did the math. She was detained, practically imprisoned, for almost 4 years before that night on the road. "My goodness," Bella gasped. Bella held her tight and rocked her as the truth poured out. The lessons that lasted days without food. The soundproof music room where no one heard screams. The final escape. Alistair's chauffeur shoving her into the storm that night, whispering, "Run, little lioness, run." Bella traced the burn marks that were branded on Anna's ribs. This wasn't just abuse. It was a receipt. Proof Alistair owned the last Dariz heir. What demented mind would do this to a child? Bella wondered, and now she knew that Anna was in more danger than anybody could have ever imagined. Alistair would be secretly looking for Anna. A USB arrived anonymously at Bella's house. She saw a package at her doorstep when she returned from dropping Anna off at school that morning. The footage showed a gilded music room. A young dark-haired girl, Anna, played Bach as a silver-haired man in a well-tailored suit watched. "Again," he ordered. When Anna hit a wrong note, he pressed a lit cigar to her bare back. Her scream shattered Bella's soul. The timestamp, 3 months after her parents' accident. The man screamed at her. "Discipline makes legacy." Bella vomited. She called Claire over and played the video. Claire looked at the DeRees family records and identified the silver-haired man as possibly being Alistair DeRees and his uncle, though they couldn't see his face. With Richard's line gone, the family fortune went to him, Claire said. Bella knew she should go to the police, but was this evidence enough? She feared that if she went, Alistair would find a way to escape justice if he was the man in the video. But what could she do? Then came the break. Bella was walking in a mall after dropping Anna off for her annual checkup with her therapist when an old man pushed a piece of paper into her hand. Bella looked at it, and the words made her stomach drop. "I know, Elena. Meet me at Monagry Cafe by 4. The old man gripped Bella's hands in the dim cafe, his voice frayed with guilt. "Her real name is Elena DeRees," he whispered, sliding a photo across the table. A laughing couple with a toddler at a Parisian cafe. Richard and Lillian DeRees. The woman had Anna's delicate fingers. The man had her hair and looks. Between them, a beaming 3-year-old with a chocolate-smeared face. Alistair made me scrub every trace of them. But I kept one. What he said confirmed part of what her friend Claire had found and what Anna... No, Elena said. Bella's pulse hammered as he revealed the twisted tale. It began in Oxford, 2005. Alistair and Richard were twins and were legends at Christ Church College. Richard with his easy charm and Alistair with his razor-sharp intellect. The night they met Lillian Carmichael at a piano recital. She was sipping coffee just before she was called up to perform. Alistair spoke to her first. She played Claire de Lune, the chauffeur murmured. Alistair gave her a white, rose-dipped in gold leaf. Richard brought her coffee the next morning before her next show, just how she took it, though they'd never spoken. Lillian chose the brother who remembered the small things. Alistair never forgave either of them. Bella recoiled at the next photo, a gravestone. Anna Celeste Rees, aged 7 years, 7 months. His only child, the chauffeur said, died of meningitis while he was in Tokyo closing a deal. When Richard and Lillian had Elena later, his voice broke. He'd stare at her nursery monitor for hours, whispering, "Anna should be here." The chauffeur told her he was the one who sent the first USB to her house. He gave her another USB and warned her that the footage was worse than the first one. Bella plugged it into her laptop, not doubting him. A palatial nursery where 10-year-old Elena sat before a towering mirror. Alistair's voice slithered from off-camera. "Who are you?" The child hesitated. "Elena DeRees." The cigar hissed against her back. "Liar," he snarled and then followed it with 3 precise whips using what looked like an electric cable. Whatever it was short and pliable enough that he easily tucked it into his double-breasted suit. Over months, he erased her, replaced her memories with his dead daughters, made her answer to Anna, made her forget her parents' faces. The chauffeur uncovered the sealed 1998 will of Patriarch Charles DeRees. "To my son Richard, the estates, the trusts, the voting shares. To Alistair, $10 million and my disappointment." Attached, a psychiatrist's report on 16-year-old Alistair torturing the family spaniel, the 5th animal he tortured. There was also a report about him shoving a cousin down a cliff, but he claimed it was an accident. That cousin has been on a wheelchair ever since he recovered. The note scrawled in Charles's hand. "This one's broken." New footage surfaced, security cam stills from the Mare Liberum. Alistair handing Richard a brandy. Richard collapsing. Lillian lunging as Alistair smiled and went below deck. The last frame, Elena playing hide and seek hiding in a cabinet, hands over her eyes, and then there was an explosion. Alistair somehow took Elena off the yacht before the explosion, and his cruelty took on new dimension. Every cigar burn on Elena's back matched the date. The day Richard graduated summa cum laude. Lillian's birthday. Their wedding anniversary. Anna's birthday. He was tattooing his hatred into her skin. The chauffeur's voice cracked. I didn't realize Elena was alive and in the house until Alistair had an accident in his study 2 days before the storm. The housekeeper had shut down for the night, and I had gone in to ask about our itinerary for the next day, as was the practice, only to see him on the floor. I called 911, but then I noticed the video playing on his laptop and saw little Elena and the torture. He was watching the video before his accident. I was shocked to see her, because we all learned that she had died along with her parents in the accident. I wasn't sure where the room was because I don't have access to many parts of the mansion, and I couldn't ask the housekeeper because she is as mean as a rattlesnake, and we all know that she's totally in love with Alistair, who likes to play on her emotions. "Why didn't you go to the police?" Bella asked, to which the old man laughed. "The cops? Lady, it seems you don't know the Rees, do you? Alistair was in the hospital for 2 days, and I spent 2 nights secretly going over the mansion and the grounds to find the room Elena was being held in. I finally found her locked in one of the music rooms that is in the east wing that we were told was closed because it was haunted. She was bleeding from where he'd corrected her Chopin and had bloodstains on her dress. I told her there was a storm coming and that I would come get her, and that when I let her out she should just keep running until she got to the road. I had no idea who would find her, but I just couldn't live with myself any longer knowing what that man had been doing to that child. I let her out in the rain and whispered in her ears, 'Run, little lioness, run.' Bella's breath caught. Her headlights. That rainy night. That expression. The mansion seemed too quiet when Alistair returned from the hospital. The old chauffeur maintained a straight face. He went in and took the turn to the secret door that led to the east wing where he held Anna. He didn't hear the usual faint sobs. Just the housekeeper wringing her hands by the staircase. "Where is she?" His voice was deceptively soft. The housekeeper paled. I thought she was with you, sir." Alistair's gold watch tick-tick-ticked in the silence as he climbed the stairs, his Oxford shoes leaving muddy prints on the Persian rug. "You're kidding with me right now, aren't you?" And you lashed out at her, landing her a heavy slap. The music room was empty. The reinforced door hung ajar. Inside, a single drop of dry blood on the piano's middle C. The scent of antiseptic and fear. The surveillance monitor had been turned off. Alistair's reflection warped in the broken screen as he whispered, "Anna, my Anna. Where are you?" "Not Elena. Never Elena." Alistair began an underground search. He prowled the city in his black SUV with his chauffeur. Orphanages paid off to report any new girls. Piano teachers questioned about prodigies. Hospitals checked for burn victims. No trace. He knew she couldn't have just disappeared. Did someone let her out? It was only the housekeeper who knew about her existence, and he trusted her with his life. She had always been in love with him and would do anything he asked her to. His fist shattered the mirror in Richard's old bedroom. "She's mine," he screamed in the empty room. The police had a problem. The commissioner shifted uncomfortably in Alistair's study. "You're saying the child that was buried is actually alive?" Alistair's smile didn't reach his eyes. "A misunderstanding. My niece wandered off from boarding Schuel, but the DNA was wrong." A briefcase of cash clicked open on the desk. The commissioner left without touching it. The old chauffeur then pressed a rusted key into Bella's palm, his nicotine-stained fingers trembling. Charles de Rees' private vault, under the family mausoleum. He glanced over his shoulder at the cafe door. Alistair thinks it's empty. He's wrong. Bella's throat tightened. "Why help us?" A single tear cut through the wrinkles on his face. Because the real Anna, his Anna, would have been almost Elena's age now. And that monster stole both their childhoods. "By the way, Alistair will be out of town tomorrow," the old man added, and with that he was gone. Midnight. Rain slashing at their backs. Bella drove Elena to the de Rees family mausoleum. Elena flinched as the vault door creaked open, revealing walls lined with surveillance tapes. Grandfather was watching him, she whispered. Bella's flashlight caught the labels. Alistair sabotages Richard's Oxford thesis, 2006. Alistair bribes Lillian's maid to poison her tea, 2012. Fuel line cutting, The Lady in White, 2017. But the final tape froze Bella's blood. Charles de Rees, very much alive, speaking directly to the camera. If you're seeing this, Elena, run to Switzerland. Tell them. The video cut to static. They barely made it back to the car before headlights flooded the cemetery. The squat woman from the USB footage stepped out, a syringe glinting in her hand. Alistair's personal housekeeper. You ungrateful brat, she spat at Elena. He made you perfect. Bella stomped the gas as the woman lunged. Thud. The rearview mirror showed her rolling in the mud, screaming into her phone. Bella called the bank, and Elena provided the code. The Swiss banker's voice was crisp. The vault contents were moved in 2018. To some piano. Elena's head snapped up. The Bosendorfer, she breathed. The one in the East Wing. Bella called the police. Flashback. It was 2018. Charles de Ries, Elena's grandfather, dying of pancreatic cancer, whispered to his butler. Alistair will kill Richard when I'm gone. I just feel it in my bones, and there's nothing I can do about it. Get this document to the bank and give them this message. Elena understood her grandfather's coded messages. The will was in the Bosendorfer's secret compartment. Only Elena could play the unlocking sequence. Her grandfather made sure of that. Present day. Elena's fingers flew across the Bosendorfer's keys in Alistair's abandoned music room. A click. The front panel slid open, revealing. Charles is updated while leaving everything to Elena. A DNA test proving Alistair isn't a Ries, his mother's infidelity. A letter from my lioness. Burn him down. The door exploded inward. Alistair stood framed in firelight, his dead daughter's stuffed lion in one hand, a gun in the other. You think you can take everything away from me, he hissed at Elena. She stood, clutching the will. No, you were never one of us. He took a shot, and Bella pushed Elena out of the way. She got hit, and as he made to shoot again, there was a shout. Police, put your hands up where we can see them. It was called the trial of the century. The world watched as Elena de Ries, not Anna, never Anna again, walked into the courthouse with Bella, a calm and confident young lady. Her black top and white pants showed no skin, but everyone knew what lay beneath. The scars Alistair had carved into her. The story they told. At the defendant's table, Alistair sat perfectly composed, but his left eye twitched every time Elena spoke. The prosecutor approached gently. Mr. Ries, can you tell us about the music room? Elena's fingers flexed on the stand. She didn't look at Alistair. It smelled like cigars and bleach. A pause. The room held its breath. The mirror covered the whole wall, so I'd have to watch. Her voice fractured. Watch when he burned me and whipped me for missing notes. On and on she went, and for the first time, she publicly revealed the horror Alistair put her through. A juror vomited into a handkerchief. The prosecutor displayed evidence like chess moves. The USB tapes, Alistair's own recordings of Elena's lessons, the morgue photos, the blonde child's autopsy proving it was not Elena. Charles's letter, Alistair is no son of mine. But the killing blow? Elena lifted her shirt just enough to show the brand. Dr. de Ries. His mark. His admission of guilt. When the verdict came, guilty on all counts, Alistair lunged at Elena across the courtroom. You're my daughter. Alistair was charged with first-degree murder of 2 people for the killings of Richard and Lillian de Ries, aggravated kidnapping for imprisoning Elena for years, child torture and abuse, enhanced penalties due to duration and severity, fraud and obstruction of justice, faking Elena's death and bribing officials, tax evasion and financial crimes. IRS investigation uncovered hidden assets. The bailiffs dragged him out screaming profanities at Elena, his tailored suit tearing at the seams. The cameras caught every second. He was sentenced to life without parole at ADX Florence, known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies, housed in solitary confinement, 23 hours per day, due to his notoriety. No access to music or news. Special court order after Elena's victim impact statement. Forfeiture of all assets, $1.2 billion, to Elena as restitution. She donated the money to the National Association for Abused Children. On behalf of her newly established Lillian and Richard DeRees Memorial Fund for foster children. His name was removed from all DeRees family records. His prison number, DR 666, became tabloid shorthand for evil. 6 months later, a CNN ticker flashes. Disgraced tycoon Alastair DeRees found dead in cell. Guards report he spent his final days screaming about piano music only he could hear. Elena, now a freshman in college, pauses mid-concerto backstage when a classmate shows her the news. She adjusts her diamond bracelet, her mother's, recovered from Alastair's vault, and says only, "The song's over. Money can't buy mercy." 1 year later, Elena stood before the rebuilt DeRees Conservatory, now a sanctuary for abused prodigies. The plaque read, "For Lillian and Richard, for all the children who survived." Bella squeezed her hand. "They'd be proud." Elena smiled. "I know," she said. Then she turned and looked at Bella again, as though seeing her for the first time, and for the umpteenth time, said, "Thank you. Thank you, Mom, for saving me. Now that I can choose who my family is, I choose you." Sometimes, fate delivers what bloodline tries to steal. Here are some questions for you, our viewers. What does the downfall of Alastair teach us about true evil? Anna's scars were invisible to the world until she showed them. How many suffering children might be hiding in plain sight? Bella wasn't rich or powerful, just kind. What would you have done if you were in her shoes? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories.